everyone thought Chuck Potthast had seen it all. The tears, the fights, the family drama that unfolded on camera for the world to see. But nothing could prepare anyone for the news that dropped and shook the entire 90-day fiancé community. Chuck, Elizabeth's dad, the man who was often the glue holding his family together, had passed away. Just like that, the heart of their family was gone. But what happened next left everyone in tears. Fans, friends, and even casual viewers felt the weight of this loss. Social media exploded with condolences, memories, and shock. Elizabeth, his daughter, shared the heartbreaking news in a post that revealed just how shattered they all were. 2 weeks ago, tragedy struck our family, she wrote. My sweet, loving, and caring dad went to heaven. The words were simple, but the pain behind them hit hard. How does a family survive when the heart of it is gone? Chuck wasn't just a dad on reality TV. He was a man who fought battles off camera that most people could only imagine. Years of health struggles, multiple surgeries, and a brave battle with cancer left scars that nobody could erase. In September, he went into surgery to repair a severe hernia caused by his past medical complications. What was supposed to be a routine procedure turned into an 8-hour ordeal. The man who kept his family together faced his own fragility in a way that was both terrifying and deeply human. And while the surgery had complications, Chuck's spirit never wavered. He shared updates with fans, showing his sense of humor even in the toughest moments. My stomach wall had completely collapsed, so they had to fix that, he admitted. But the benefit is I have a flat stomach now, which is cool. That mix of resilience, honesty, and a little wit is exactly why fans connected with him. He wasn't just part of the show, he was someone people could relate to. Yet behind those updates was a father worrying about his family. Chuck knew what life could take away in an instant, and he wanted to leave a legacy of love and togetherness. His social media posts, filled with moments on the water with Elizabeth, Andre, and their children, or sharing a laugh with his son Charlie, painted a picture of a man desperate to savor every second with those he loved most. Every post, every photo, carried the weight of someone who knew life didn't wait for drama to resolve. Fans remembered him not just for the love he shared, but also for the chaos he managed. Remember that moment when Elizabeth's husband Andre and her brother Charlie got into a physical altercation at a family gathering? Chuck was the one who broke down, begging for peace, trying to hold everyone together while his own heart was breaking. He didn't care about fame, money, or the cameras. All he wanted was his family intact. Wait till you hear how one family gathering changed everything for Elizabeth forever. If you've been following 90 Day Fiancé, you already know Chuck Potthast wasn't just another face on the show. He was the kind of dad everyone wished they had on their screen, steady, loving, and painfully honest. Chuck had a way of stepping into the chaos and trying to make sense of it, even when the drama felt unstoppable. Fans quickly fell in love with him because he wasn't playing a character. He was a real dad, dealing with real problems, and trying to keep his family from tearing itself apart. Some of the most unforgettable moments involved him acting as the mediator when things got heated. Remember the infamous fight between Elizabeth's husband, Andre, and her brother, Charlie. A family gathering spiraled into a full-on physical confrontation, and Chuck was the first one to step in. He didn't shout, he didn't lash out. He just broke down, tears streaming, begging his kids to stop, to remember that they were family. You could see it in his eyes, he loved them too much to let a single fight define the day. That moment alone showed the kind of man he was, someone who cared more about healing than winning. But Chuck's story on the show wasn't all drama. He also had a long, public battle with cancer, which added a whole other layer to his presence. Fans saw him go through surgeries, recoveries, and health scares, all while trying to maintain a sense of normalcy for his family. He shared glimpses of those struggles on social media, from candid photos on the water with his grandchildren to heartfelt messages about his love for Elizabeth. Every post reminded people that this wasn't just reality TV, it was real life. Sometimes, reality TV makes you think family therapy should be included in the contract. You know what I mean. His dedication was clear in the small things. Whether it was helping Elizabeth navigate marital tension or cheering on Charlie at a local sports game, Chuck never stopped showing up. Even during the show's most tense moments, he tried to keep a balance, quietly managing chaos while giving his family the space to work through their issues. He wanted them to grow closer, not fall apart. Fans noticed this, often commenting on how rare it was to see someone genuinely care about family without an ulterior motive. Social media lit up every time he posted, with messages ranging from encouragement to gratitude, proving just how much of an impact he had beyond the screen. Yet, even with all his efforts, life didn't pause for Chuck. Between the surgeries, the cancer battles, and the family drama, he was stretched thin. And still, he approached everything with humor and humility. I might be recovering, but at least my stomach is flat now, he joked after one lengthy surgery. Those moments made fans laugh, but they also highlighted his resilience. Chuck showed people how to face struggles with courage and a little lightheartedness, even when things seemed impossible. But just when you think the family's finally calm, Chuck's health takes a shocking turn. Just when it seemed like Chuck had weathered everything reality TV could throw at him, life reminded everyone how fragile even the strongest people are. After years of juggling family drama, surgeries, and the spotlight of being a reality TV dad, Chuck faced one of his toughest battles yet. In September, he went in for surgery to fix a severe hernia, a complication from multiple previous procedures related to his cancer. What was supposed to be a routine 3 to 4 hour surgery turned into an 8 hour ordeal because his stomach wall had completely collapsed. You could almost feel the tension from here. Fans followed along on social media, seeing updates meant to reassure them. I'm fine, he said at first, but anyone who's been through a medical emergency knows how quickly things can change. And change they did. Chuck shared his progress, his words laced with honesty and humor, saying, "The benefit is I have a flat stomach now, which is cool." That line brought smiles, but underneath it, there was a man carrying the weight of uncertainty, worried about more than just recovery. Chuck's mind wasn't on himself, at least not first. He worried about leaving his family fractured, about Elizabeth and the kids facing life without him as the steady center of the chaos. For someone who spent years trying to mediate fights, calm tensions, and hold his family together, the thought of not being there was almost unbearable. His vulnerability was on display in ways that fans could feel. Posts featuring time on the water with Elizabeth, Andre, and the grandchildren suddenly took on a heavier meaning. Every laugh, every selfie, every moment shared publicly carried the subtext of, "I want to be here for as long as I can." He said he was fine until one update changed everything. The complications from surgery were serious, longer, and more grueling than anyone anticipated. And even though Chuck tried to keep the tone light for his fans, the truth was that recovery would be slow, roughly 3 months, and not without risk. Watching him navigate this period was like watching a parent hold back tears in front of their kids. You see the effort to stay strong, but the fear is there, quietly clawing at the edges. Fans reacted in real time. Messages poured in, sending prayers, encouragement, and heartfelt notes. You could see why people loved Chuck. He made the audience care without needing to perform. The emotional connection was real because the stakes were real. Even the strongest dads sometimes need prayers more than anything, and Chuck was no exception. His posts weren't just updates, they were glimpses into someone confronting mortality while trying to keep his family anchored. Every day seemed to carry its own mini drama. A post with a smile, a joke about recovery, a photo with the grandkids. Moments that would have been ordinary now felt monumental. People online speculated, worried, and sent support. Chuck, however, remained grounded, continuing to express gratitude for the small victories, like walking without assistance or enjoying time outdoors. It was inspiring, but also heartbreaking. You could sense the anxiety beneath the surface, the tension between hope and the lingering fear of what might come next. Then there were the reflections. In interviews and social media posts, Chuck shared glimpses of how close calls with cancer had reshaped his perspective. He mentioned his first operation 5 years ago, one that nearly ended his life, and the thought of leaving his family in chaos was unbearable. For someone who spent so much energy holding his children and their relationships together, facing his own vulnerability brought everything into sharp relief. This wasn't reality TV drama anymore. This was life in its rawest form, where outcomes weren't scripted and no producer could control the ending. Even as he showed resilience, there were moments that reminded fans how human he was. A caption here, a candid photo there, small expressions of exhaustion or concern. It all painted a picture of a man balancing courage with fear. His audience could see it, and they responded with the empathy of people who had watched him for years, grown to care, and now faced the possibility of losing someone irreplaceable. Fans were left asking, could this really be the end for Chuck? It was hard to watch, knowing that every update could carry a new twist. A day that started with hope could end with a question mark. His medical journey became a narrative all its own, full of suspense and emotional weight. Chuck's story reminded everyone that even people who seem invincible have breaking points, and that courage often looks quiet and understated rather than dramatic. Through it all, Chuck's humor and humanity never disappeared. While he faced long hours in recovery, he still found ways to make others laugh, to stay connected with his family, and to share gratitude with fans. It was a delicate balance, showing strength while admitting vulnerability. And it was those moments, those honest, unscripted flashes of a father confronting fear while loving fiercely, that made people feel deeply for him. Every post, every interaction, every reflection carried emotional gravity. Chuck's journey wasn't just about surgery or medical updates. It was about the psychological toll, the awareness of mortality, and the desperate desire to keep family bonds intact. It was about showing that strength isn't the absence of fear, but the decision to keep moving forward despite it. And even though some fans had known about his medical history for years, this period hit differently. Watching someone so central to the family confront serious health complications was a reminder of fragility, love, and the weight of responsibility. Chuck's health struggles added new layers to his story, transforming him from a beloved TV dad into a symbol of resilience, vulnerability, and the human cost of keeping a family together. The news of Chuck Potthast's passing didn't just hit his family, it sent shockwaves through the entire 90-day Fiancé fan community. Social media lit up almost instantly, with fans sharing memories, clips, and heartfelt messages. People who had followed Chuck for years expressed disbelief and sorrow. Some recounted their favorite moments watching him on the show, from calming family disputes to those small, tender interactions with Elizabeth and the grandchildren that made viewers feel like part of the family themselves. Many fans reflected on how rare it was to see someone so genuinely devoted to family on reality TV. Chuck wasn't there to create drama or boost ratings. He was there to protect his loved ones, to stand between tension and chaos, and to show love in ways that weren't always flashy but were profoundly real. Observing fan reactions, it became clear that Chuck's legacy wasn't just about his appearances on camera. He had become a symbol of parental devotion, a reminder that family loyalty isn't measured by perfection, but by presence, effort, and unwavering care. You could see the contrast between Chuck's public persona and his private struggles even more clearly now. On TV, fans saw him as the calm mediator, the steady father, the man holding everything together. Off camera, he faced surgeries, the long shadow of cancer, and the anxiety of leaving his family fractured. These were battles no one could script, and the combination of public and private challenges made his story even more compelling. Fans noticed the duality, someone who could manage explosive family arguments while quietly confronting life-threatening health issues. It was a mix of resilience, love, and vulnerability that resonated deeply. Across Instagram, Twitter, and fan forums, people shared stories of how Chuck had inspired them. "He reminds me that being a parent isn't about being perfect," one comment read. "It's about showing up every day, even when life is hard." Another post reflected, "Watching Chuck handle the chaos of reality TV while fighting his own battles made me appreciate my family so much more." These tributes painted a picture of a man whose influence went beyond the screen, touching real lives in a meaningful way. The emotional fallout wasn't just about grief, it was about reflection. Chuck's death prompted fans to consider their own family dynamics. If this was your family, how would you hold it together? How would you handle tension, love, and the unpredictability of life? These weren't just rhetorical questions. They were invitations for viewers to examine loyalty, empathy, and resilience in their own lives. Chuck's story forced people to confront the delicate balance between personal vulnerability and family responsibility, showing that sometimes the strongest figures are also the most human. Even after his passing, Chuck's presence lingered. Fans dug through old clips, shared screenshots of his posts, and recounted moments that felt small at the time but were now filled with deeper meaning. Every laugh, every joke, every time he stepped in to calm Elizabeth, Andre, or Charlie carried emotional weight. It was clear that Chuck's life, though marked by struggle, had left an indelible mark on the franchise and its audience. Psychologically, what made Chuck so compelling was the honesty in his vulnerability. He didn't hide fear or doubt, he shared moments of uncertainty alongside love and humor. This blend of openness and dedication allowed fans to connect with him on a personal level. In a world where reality TV often exaggerates conflict, Chuck's authenticity was striking. He reminded people that grief, love, and family complexity are real, messy, and often unscripted. The messages keep pouring in, but one reveal hits harder than all the rest by now. It's clear that Chuck Potthast wasn't just a dad on TV. He was the heartbeat of his family, the calm in the middle of chaos, and the kind of parent who made loyalty, love, and patience look effortless, even when life was anything but. His life was full of challenges, long battles with cancer, complicated surgeries, and the constant drama of a family living under the reality TV microscope. But through it all, Chuck remained steadfast. He showed viewers that family isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, protecting the ones you love, and finding laughter in the cracks of life. Chuck's influence extended far beyond what aired on screen. His fans didn't just watch him mediate fights or attend family gatherings, they saw him living a life of resilience. Every moment he spent with Elizabeth, Andre, Charlie, and the grandchildren was an example of how commitment and love can outweigh anger, misunderstanding, or chaos. And while viewers knew him as a peacemaker, the truth was that behind the camera, Chuck was human. He experienced fear, exhaustion, and doubt, yet he never let that define his relationship with his family. There's a lesson here that goes beyond reality TV. Life will throw unexpected hardships, and sometimes the strongest people you know are quietly carrying the heaviest burdens. Chuck reminded everyone that facing struggles with honesty, humor, and love matters more than controlling every outcome. His posts during his recovery, filled with gratitude, small victories, and even self-deprecating jokes about his flat stomach, showed the balance between strength and vulnerability. It's a reminder that resilience isn't about being unbreakable, it's about showing up even when everything feels fragile. For Elizabeth, the impact is immeasurable. Losing her father is more than a personal loss. It's the sudden absence of a guiding force who held the family together through the toughest fights and the quietest days. The grief is raw, complicated, and ongoing, and viewers can't help but empathize with her struggle to navigate life without Chuck's steady presence. And yet, even in the midst of sorrow, there's a glimmer of hope. The love and lessons Chuck left behind aren't gone, they're woven into the family he fought so hard to protect. As fans, it's easy to get caught up in the drama, the tears, and the memories, but Chuck's story also asks us to pause. It asks us to think about loyalty, family bonds, and the ways we support the people we love, even when the world feels unpredictable. It asks, how do we hold on to what's important when life reminds us how fleeting it can be? Watching Chuck, we're reminded that it's not about avoiding hardship, it's about facing it with courage, compassion, and honesty. And yet, the story isn't over. What happens next could change everything for Elizabeth. The family is now navigating life without its anchor, and the next chapter is uncertain. How will she manage her relationships, honor her father's memory, and keep the family connected under the weight of grief and public attention? Those questions linger, leaving viewers on edge, invested, and eager to see how the next wave of drama, love, and resilience unfolds. Chuck's legacy isn't measured in TV appearances or social media posts. It's in the lessons he taught, the love he shared, and the strength he showed in living fully, even when life was messy. His story is a reminder that reality TV might capture the drama, but it's the real moments, the laughter, the tears, the unwavering devotion, that leave the deepest mark. Even as Chuck's story reaches its heartbreaking pause, the ripple effects are just beginning. His absence leaves a gap in the family that no one can fill, and Elizabeth now faces the unimaginable challenge of navigating life without the dad who was the steady center of her world. Fans have been watching, commenting, and sharing their own feelings of grief. But for Elizabeth and the family, the struggle is personal, ongoing, and far from over. Social media has become a place where fans express their love, concern, and shock, but it's also a reminder of how public this grief is. Every post, every memory shared online carries weight. Elizabeth's own updates reveal a mix of sorrow, strength, and moments of reflection. She's holding the family together, just as Chuck would have wanted, but the tension, emotions, and unresolved dynamics are far from settled. There are whispers among fans about what's next. How will Andre and Charlie manage their relationship now that the father figure is gone? Will old arguments resurface, or will Chuck's legacy of mediation leave a lasting impact? And what about the younger generation, the grandchildren who saw Chuck as their anchor and playmate? The answers are still unfolding, and the suspense keeps everyone watching, commenting, and waiting for the next chapter. Reality TV thrives on drama, but in moments like this, it's the human element that truly captivates. The lessons about family loyalty, resilience, and mortality are intertwined with the very real tension of what comes next. The emotional stakes are high, and the audience can't help but be invested in every decision, every confrontation, and every fleeting moment of joy or sorrow. Elizabeth now has a delicate path to navigate, honoring her father, protecting the family, and managing the public eye at the same time. Every choice she makes could bring relief or ignite tension. And while Chuck's presence is gone, his influence lingers, shaping the way the family moves forward. Fans are left wondering, speculating, and emotionally preparing for what might happen next. Next time, we see how Elizabeth faces life without her dad, and you won't believe what happens at the next family gathering. The story of Chuck Potthast may have reached its emotional peak, but the consequences of his life, love, and loss continue to unfold. Every laugh, every tear, and every family moment now carries the shadow of his absence, keeping viewers on edge, heartstrings pulled, and ready for the next chapter in this unforgettable family saga.